our applause if you want to clap. Does anybody else have a miracle? Okay, you.
Oh, you get
Oh.
microphone already
Yeah.
attached to you.
Now, there you go. There's another miracle. And it happens. I'm a collector. I really do. So does Lakia. We collect our moments of miracles. We make it a point that, whether we're in the house or we're leaving the house or wherever we are, we just put ourselves into that habitual vibrational energy, collecting the miracle, because all creation is about energy anyway. So the path, the tonal path, Keala, means that you are able to really come into your consciousness and choose. You make up your mind to choose the path that you want to be a part of in any moment in time. So for us, every time we go out, we allow because we made the choice to experience miracles, magical moments, It's very important to us. And oh my goodness, we get it a lot and all the time. It's a constant. And the reason again that it is so constant, it's like my grandfather used to say to me that it is the makana e keahi. It means that this is the gift. This is the gift of the energies. This is the gift part that you can do. Makana, Keala, be on that path, yeah? So always remembering that. So things that come along for us, we just go, yay, okay, that's another one. We consciously just record it, snap it in.
We put it in our ipu or our imaginary lauhala basket.
Right.
We just gather it.
We collect it.
Yeah.
And each time, it doesn't have to be like anything really big, although I consider Douglas kind of big, And so just last week, was it last week? Probably about a week ago, speaking about miracles, yeah, and that moment. We were watching TV, of all things. We don't hardly watch TV, okay? But we happened to be watching the awards. Maybe I can take that off.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So we were watching the America's Greatest Musician or Magician.
America's Got Talent.
America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
But it was the Magician series.
The Magic
series.
The magic, And I went, oh boy, here we go. Let's see what they're doing for the magic stuff, And this magician came out and he was explaining something and he said to the audience, he says, okay, he says, I've got a magic for you. Actually, you probably have it for me, And he says something about,
I'm thinking of a letter and a number.
Yes, I'm thinking of a letter and a number. And he wanted the people to write it down. Everybody writes down their letter and their number, So I'm watching this and I'm going, oh, that's easy. And so I wrote down L. And then the next thing he says is, oh, and a number, the number. And I went, oh, that's easy. 3. And I put the 3 down, And so we're just going along and he's asking the audience. And there had to be at least 100 people in the audience, And he's asking the people, and nobody came up with that.
He goes, my number is L3.
Right.
And he asked the audience, did anybody come up with L3? Nobody in the audience came up with L3. Anike, us at home, we were watching it on YouTube. So how long ago was that? I don't know what the
6
episode.
months,
Yeah,
yeah.
long time ago.
6 months.
But she goes, oh, I have L3.
Is this a miracle enough?
And nobody else in the audience had L3. Yeah. But L3 for him was he had
A
marked.
guest,
Yeah, he had a guest in the seat that was marked
L3.
and he was able to name that guest, and that's why L3. So nobody in the audience got that, but Anake got it, and he was talking about how you can send that information.
So the messages I got from the Kapunas when I asked them, some of you may know that my ancestors are my club, let's say, the gang that I am with, So I asked them, I said, hey, this is 6 months old because they had this date, And I said, this is 6 months old, And they go, well, we didn't make it that way. Energy is energy, And I'm like, okay, and then they said either you accept it or you don't. No, I accept it. So I consider that quite a
That was a magic moment.
magic.
We love miracles. That reminds us how connected we are.
Oh,
Sometimes
totally.
we forget.
Yeah.
And time and space matters not.
I have another magic moment I'll share just real quickly
Sure.
if I can.
I'm not sure you're on.
Is this on? Okay. Mahalo. So, with the hurricane coming, we actually had a live class, and we had announced that, we have a hurricane coming. And so, and it's just kind of like Anake was like, oh, it's going to miss us.
Mhm.
And, she doesn't watch news, and we don't watch the news or anything, so we don't track it. But I was, kind of looking at it on my computer, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of big, kind of coming. It's really coming. It's coming. But, she was like, I'm like, So maybe like the day before it was coming, she goes, nope, it's going to miss us. And I go, I believe so. I believe so, because we have the shield volcanoes here on Big Island, and we know the goddesses really bless us and take care of us. And Anake is always on it. She is like really in tune to the weather, and she goes, oh, it's going to rain. It rains. I mean, every single time. So anyway, she had mentioned that it was going to miss us. And so what we do in these moments, even, like if you come upon a moment that you might consider pilikia, trauma and drama, like we're driving down the highway and there's an accident. And instead of going into the pilikia of that, of like, oh, they got hurt, oh, it's a really bad crash, we go into the blessings,
Energy.
blessings, 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 blessings,
Immediate
blessings.
energy.
And we call in the what we call, the perfect, the best case scenario. The best case scenario for this involvement to evolve through this experience. So we know that will happen. So here comes Douglas. And so we're like, okay, blessings, 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 and the best case scenario. So it was so wonderful to prove ourselves right because that's how energy works. We know how energy works. And so when we send out energy, like energy comes back. That's how it works. So we knew we sent out the blessings, blessings, blessings. This is going to be Douglas is here. We're going to experience this. It's here for a reason. It has all of the blessings, the lessons and the blessings, and we're going to receive that. It's going to actually be the best case scenario of a hurricane coming and hitting the north end of the islands. And so we watched it, and we watched the magic happen. And that was our magical moment with the
Yeah. And I told her, I
Hurricane
said,
Douglas.
remember now, computers don't make it.
It's really
No,
big, and
it's
it was
not.
coming. It was scary. Just for a minute. Just for a second.
Just for a minute.
A second of pilikia.
Mhm.
Thanks for the reminder.
Mhm.
If I could invite you to perform another song, and then I can introduce Auntie Mahealani.
Oh, mahalo. Okay, let's do one more song on okay.
The Keala Kekua.
These islands?
Keala Kekua.
Oh, yeah, I know the one.
This next number that we're going to do is about Keala Kekua, or it speaks about Keala Kekua and the dolphins and just everything that's here that makes it so alive. So it places you in the stream of this beautiful energy. You know, if you care to choose it, it's here. Okay.
Eapono Nui,
Uh-huh.
which means big acceptance. It is all about abundance, oceans worth of spirits, creations, with the joyfulness of oneness. Oh, for love and death. See the dolphins all at play down in Kealakekua Bay. Happy swimming all the way. Total acceptance of their day. Hey, Apono Nui, hey, Apono Nui, mai. Hey, Apono Nui, hey, Apono Nui, mai. See the dolphins all at play down in Kealakekua Bay. Happy swimming all the way. Total acceptance of their day. Hey, Apono Nui mai. Hey, Apono Nui mai. Yua, Ekona, Eha. You might want to learn this one day and then go down to Kealakekua Bay. We haven't done it yet. And see how many dolphins show up for you. It will. It'll call them in. There's a magic in the Hawaiian words. There really is. There's a magic that they just in tune. They're so in tune with.
And now we know how to call them in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Why wait? Thank you so much for the beautiful music. Now, Auntie, if you could do a little introduction for yourself, I'd appreciate it. But before I put the mic down, I just want to let everyone know what a special woman this is to me. I must have known her for 10 or 15 years now.
Plus,
Yeah, I can't remember anymore how long things take. But what's really unique about Mahealani for me is that she uses New Thought principles to explain the way things are in the Hawaiian way. So her email address is like Aloha Spirit Auntie. And I think that really just kind of sums it up for me. And I used to go to these little classes with her. And the thing that I always remember about her is that each of us are responsible to create our own world within this world. And in a Pono way. And the great thing about Auntie is that she lives and embodies and exemplifies all these things. So that to me is way valuable because we can get lost in our heads about a lot of these things. But Auntie, no can. Okay. Auntie, please tell us more about yourself and then tell us what you like. You're good to 11:15, but you don't have to go that long if you don't want to.
oh,
And by
that's
the
okay.
way-
They can take 2-3 hours.
Okay, well, if people want to go outside and take a breath break or whatever, just to get out of your mask and relax and feel free, you're welcome to do that. Also, if you want to leave a little early to avoid contact with others, that's okay too. This is our donation bowl. We're not going to pass it because we don't want to get the cooties, but I'll cue that later. And until then, bam, aloha Spirit Auntie.
Hey, Kalamai. My name is La'akea Pu'uvai, and I am Kumuzalaka'i, and I would.
I knew that.
If I can, Anake, I would just love to introduce her briefly, and I'll keep it real short and brief.
Oh, that's okay.
She doesn't like to talk about herself or introduce herself, and so this is why Alakai La'akea has to step in, because we are so blessed. We are so very blessed to have Anake with us. There was a time where her grandfather, who had received the ancient wisdom passed on through the Ohana, through her lineage, and this ancient wisdom, this native intelligence, this ho'oponopono keala, was passed from generation to generation. And when it came to her grandfather, he knew that the one that he was to pass it on in these new times would come, and he would receive the message of which child this was to be, that he would mentor and he would bring as his alakai and pass these teachings on to. And so there was a powerful sign that came to him through Anake's mother, and grandfather was able to, in the traditional Hawaiian way and in the old way, decipher this message. And he knew that this was the child. This was the one that he was waiting for. And that she would carry the title of a kumu that hadn't been spoken for 10 generations, which was kumu ilele o na kupuna. And that means the source or the teacher, messenger for the ancestors. That she came directly from the ancestors to bring the messages, and that she was beautifully connected to them and always will be, to bring in those messages for this modern time, and that she would be able to bridge the ancient wisdom, that beautiful native intelligence from past into this modern time, because we had become ready. So he knew that this child that was going to be born, with the signs that it was going to be a female, she was going to be very niele, which means inquisitive. Very inquisitive. She wanted to know the why and the how of everything. And wherever there was a no, she would find the yes. And that is so her. That is so her. Because she needed to learn everything that she possibly could, because she was going to be the messenger for the ancestors. And she kind of needed to have experience with the different people, different cultures, different
Both
ways,
worlds.
so that she could bridge them. She would be the bridge for that. And she would bring the ancient to the modern. And she would bring in this teaching of ho'oponopono ke ala, which means making right, more right, the path. So there is no, there's certain forms of this that are more modernized, more Western mentality, that mean, making wrong right. That is not the ancient teachings that Anake brings in through
Or resolutions.
her lineage, through her family. And she is the one here now bringing in these messages from the ancestors. And so I'm so grateful to be able to live with her and study with her. And I have for 9 blessed years now. So lucky me. And, it's just so amazing. And I just love to have her come and share with you folks, that everybody gets to be a part of receiving this precious ancient wisdom. And the time is now, and the readiness is now. And so here we all are, and we are all here in perfection, each one of you beautiful people. We are all here because Anake has a very powerful message for us. So mahalo. Let me give you her full name. Her name is Mahealani Ka'iwi Kua Mo'o Ke Kua o Kalani. And that her name of the lineage is a very powerful kuleana, a very powerful responsibility. It means the backbone strength of the heavenly chiefs. So she carries a strong kuleana with her name. And she is Kumu Ilele Ona Kupuna, teacher, source, messenger for the ancestors. So, Anake, it's all yours.
We pow. Oh boy. Oh boy. You see why I don't really care to go through my lineage, First of all, let me greet an old friend who is who I just recently found out. He used to come a lot to New Thought organization here. And Bernie, are you out there? If you are, aloha, my dear.
Aloha, Bernie. Woohoo! Shouting out to you, brother.
Yep.
You the best ever.
Your energy is here. So know that we're thinking of you also. Yeah. Okay. It's interesting today, especially, when people either ask me to speak or to some presentation or anything of that sort, I usually say, sure, if I can do it, I'll do it, because that is my own personal mission as well. As a matter of fact, this COVID-19, at least for me and the mission, was very, very, very helpful in getting me to go ahead and put the classes that I do online. So I am online. We bought our business cards here too. So it'll tell you, the website and all of that, and give you all that kind of information. So this way, it really helps the rest of the world now to hear the aloha spirit, to hear it, to know what we are about, And in fact, why so many of us have chosen, like yourselves, chosen to live here, etc. What is it? What is it about the energy? Is there an energy here that's a little bit different from other places? Yeah, I would say so. Having lived also on the mainland for, a number of years, about 20 something years, because it was prophesied by my grandfather that in order to be this bridge, I needed to know what that experience was about. What is it that others also have to live with or think that they have to live with or be with or however you want to place it, but to gain a broader understanding beyond the reef, so to speak, you know. So that was necessary. And in my life, I have done a lot of traveling as well to understand others so that I could help bridge things for them as well. One of the first classes you ever enter my classes, the first words that you hear and that you learn, because we do a little bit of it in Hawaiian as well as in the English language, and Japanese is also part of it. I have Japanese translators, German. So it's slowly going all over the world. Now with the fact that we can put it on internet is even more expansive, which is bringing the world, which is bringing all of us together in the same canoe, which is what my grandfather had talked about. So this thing with the coronavirus, I can't even say it because it just doesn't really exist.
Coronavirus.
Doesn't the coronavirus? No, it just doesn't exist. So I usually have to gain that from someone else, who may have a different resonance about it. But at any rate, because of that, there has been many opportunities placed on the table, mine included, which had to do with, okay, get these classes out there because they have to be out there. And I can't be everywhere. But through the internet, I can be. So technology finally catches up. You know what I mean? Catches up to the energies that are meant to be. So I'm right in that pathway, right in that alignment. So it's been really helpful in that way too. Yeah. As well as I keep hearing from people as well, from all over the world. It's like, oh my God, you're finally on the internet. Oh, do you know I've been following you for 7 years because I knew that you were on Facebook? And yes, every now and then I would post something on Facebook and people would, check it and dot it or however they do that. So I said, yes, yes, we're here to stay. So that's been really good. But today, talk about being in alignment. When I wake up, as I began to say, that when people ask me to speak somewhere and they ask for a synopsis, that's been a real favorite for the Hanai Poe. The Hanai Poe are not the Howleys. The Hanai Poe are those that live elsewhere and that they are not familiar with our culture and custom, et cetera, et cetera. They have their own way of placing things in their order. So at times, when you're able to meet that order, why not? But when you're not able to meet that order and you sort of try to explain that to them, they go, oh, there's a big crash or something. You hear all the dishes falling off the shelf. And I'm going, oh dear. So what has happened is when they do ask me for a synopsis, I no longer go into that part of it. I just say, okay, messages from the ancestors. How's that? And, oh, that's perfect. I go, okay, and you can fill out whatever, but that's what it is, you know?
Details to follow.
Yep. Which is to mean that the messages for the talking time, for the presentations, will come when it comes. Okay? That could be the morning of the speaking. That could be even an hour before the speaking. It could even be 5 minutes before the speaking, you know. I used to have this sweat, like, you know, oh, is it perspiration? Perspiration. Yes. Sorry about that. That's grassroots stuff, you know.
Or we call it the Okole squeeze.
Oh, well, that. So anyway, you know, and I would go, okay, gang, hey, gangy, where is the, what are we talking about? What's the message today? You know, come on. You know? And nothing, and nothing, and nothing, you know. And until, who was it? You gave the thought. Someone gave a morning, did you give the morning message on? Okay, okay. Until she got up and actually gave some messages, yeah. They came in and they go, okay, did you clock that one in? Did you get this? Did you get that? And I go, whoa, wait a minute. Oh, okay, tab it, you know. I said, oh, okay, well, that's the presentation. And they go, yeah. And I go, well, I don't have to do it. She did it. As I scramble out. They go, no. So I said, okay, you know. But it's so interesting how these things will come up at the very last minute. And I will just go with it. I will go with it because I am accustomed to following spirit. Okay. Following spirit. Following spirit means that there's no question. It's just do it, you know. And no matter what I may hesitate on, oops, sorry.
No.
Okay. There. No matter what I may hesitate on or something, this is what they want. And I say, okay. Even if I'm not really that sure, I still say okay. Because I trust. Hilinai. Hilinai is to trust. Uhane hilinai. Trust in spirit. Trust in spirit. Go what I call spandex the aloha. Stretch it! You know, and boy, am I used to stretching it. You know? But yes, spandex the aloha just a little bit more until you kohu luna. Kohu luna is to finally touch in and match up to their energies. Touch in, match up to their energies. When you do that, lights are on. When you do that, you understand through the experience of where you need to consciously bring your mind to that measurement. Okay. Oftentimes we don't know, well, what is it we're supposed to do? How do we know? How do we get there? Blah, blah, you know. Well, all things are energy. All things are energy. All things have power. You have power, you know. God's power is that energy, you know. So you don't even have to say his name. All you have to do is just go with it, with that energy of trust. Just go with the energy of trust, knowing that He's not going to fail you. No, we, as a matter of fact, will fail ourselves. Just in case you didn't know that. Just thought I'd add that in there. Just in case, just in case. Of course, that is the other room. It's not you guys. Okay? It's not you guys. It's the other guys. But yeah, and allow yourself as each moment arises and you find yourselves challenged, and let's face it, with this COVID-19, covert. I'm getting better with that. See, the funny thing about it is, I have to tell you, the funny thing about it is, it's a man-made energy. It really is. It really is. And I know that. So the best that I can do is just chuckle along with that. Okay, just chuckle along with that. So, who's in charge? Who's in charge? Okay. Yes, they are in charge as far as laying out the mandates, but we're still also in charge because we have the choice. We can either do it or we can't do it. Granted, if we didn't do it, perhaps, our neighbors may not like us or whatever, It may be a serious consequence, and that may not be an experience that you want. So rather than go through that, you go with trust, the energy of trust, not the energy of, say, man's commandments, but the energy of trust. Okay, there's a difference. There's a difference. Going with that energy of trust, as an example, gives you back this chuckled energy, like I do, where when I think about it, I choose to see the comedy in it. I choose not to lose my joy. I choose that. So that means I'm in charge. I'm in charge through my attitude. And I can either do it or I can give in to it and be angry about it, or however you want to do and spend your moment. Remember that when you spend your moment in the pilikia of it, the pilikia is a strong energy. And it will continue to, that energy will continue to reproduce itself. Okay. So if you choose the energy that doesn't resonate with your heart space, that doesn't bring you the blessings you deserve, then change it. It's that simple. Just change it. Even if you have to go get something that changes that energy, some people meditate and that helps them. Some people sing songs and that helps them. Some people go find other like-minded people that are on a positive and joyful quest. Their path is good. Go with that. We do have many choices that places us in charge. No one else is in charge. You are in charge. Just be sure that you remember that, number one. And number two, you've got your mind on that. You've chosen. You've helped your mind, your mana'o, your mind, to index that choice of joy, peace, and love, the aloha spirit to it. Do you know that the aloha spirit has been with us, oh gosh, for eons in our culture? Through times of wars, through times of you name it. The aloha spirit has never been lost here in our islands. The demonstration of it maybe has been kind of far and in between, but it's never been lost, you know. Every now and then, in fact, I used to hear them say it when I did watch regular TV. I used to hear them say, "Oh, and great aloha to you," you know, or things like that, you know. I'd say, "Oh my goodness, they're catching on. They are catching on. Yay!" You know, they're catching on. Yeah, the aloha spirit. And know that there are so many others, even just in your families, you know, that would appreciate, maybe it might be a little bit of a struggle, but if they see you as an example of love, peace, and joy, and you doing your aloha, even if it means to spandex that aloha, do it. Do it. Just remind yourself, hey, you know, I can do it. I can spandex it. I can understand. And the reason I can, and the reason that I can trust in it, the reason that I can trust myself even, is because spirit, my spirit included, makes no mistakes. Not a one, not a one, not a one, not a one. You know, my mom, before she left and before she changed address, we like to say, went on her pathway, she used to say to me, in fact, one of the last things she said to me was, "Do you know that I've been here 48 lifetimes?" 48, she called them events, actually, because she felt like lifetime, no, it's all one life. But there's many events that you do take on, you know? So I said, yeah, okay, Mom, events. And she said, yes, don't forget that. I said, okay. And she says, anyway, I've lived 48 events. And I said, wow, you know, at first I was going to jump up and down for her and say, wow, you made it through 48 events. Geez, that's great, you know? Instead, she looked at me and she said, if you think that's great, it's not great. Oh, you know, she says, I consider myself a very enlightened soul, a very enlightened spirit, you know, and all that. It shouldn't have taken me 48 events to get here. It shouldn't have. She said, but this is it. She says, I'm calling it. She said, this is it. This is no more, no more. She goes, I'm staying at home, you know. And I said, what? And she says, I'm not coming back to this planet. I said, whoa, wait a minute. How can you do that? Who do you ask? Where did you get permission? I said, does God know this? And she says, She says, listen. She says, I'm God. I'm the goddess of me. I make my choices. And besides which, they say that God is an experience of all of us. I said, okay, all right. So she says, well, I'm going to give him the experience of not returning. And I mean, to her, it made total sense. You know, it just you know, and I went, but I think you need to ask somebody. She says, no, listen to me. It's my choice. I'm in charge. Mahalo. Thank you very much for listening. Aloha. I think we did it just on time.
You have 10 more minutes on it, Kay.
Really?
If you
Oh
like.
boy,
If you like
questions. Any
questions.
questions? Or did you? Ah,
Miracle it is to be here today with you. I've loved you from the first second you came here. And I've always wanted to hear you every time you come to New Thought. I feel really touched. Thank you so much. Sincerely want to know like more expansion on what you talked about, but particularly can you say what you said, what PDFA is?
Pili. Mhm.
Aaron's asking, what is Pilikia?
Pilikia is trauma and drama. And that's an energy for mankind, really. It's not of spirit. It's man's way of description, being a little off or whatever.
I bet there's other questions, but I am curious if there isn't other questions, if you would, if any experiences came your way, and I'm curious where you were in the world and on the mainland, if you've done any self-discovery or inquiry with your own path interrelating these concepts to perhaps Buddhism or Hinduism or Eastern religions, simply because that is the path, the discrimination and the kind of allowing the
Pilikia.
to dissolve and become in a dispassionate, more discriminating fashion in some of the other paths I've studied, that it's a place that we can practice, and if that's a practice that you do.
No, I don't.
Sorry, we got to repeat the question or it won't come on the live stream.
Oh,
So
okay.
Yeah, you seem to get it, and to simplify it, have you crossed paths or been enlightened by any other, mutual ground or common ground with Eastern religions?
No, I haven't. And one of the reasons, a big reason actually, is that the just giving the attention and living the aloha spirit has been more than enough for my personal experiences. Yeah. And I have met students who have come into my classes and who have, come in with having studied these other modalities, and oftentimes say, wow, this is an easier way and it's a kinder way or something. So that's about as entry as I've gotten into other modalities. Yeah.
Aaron was asking about Eastern religions and whether Auntie applied any of that in her work. And Auntie's pretty much saying aloha is the way and the answer.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Mahalo. Lorraine has listened long enough. Oh gosh.
Izalaka'i, and I've lived with her and studied with her for quite a while, and and having studied, and know about other philosophies and other things in my time of searching, when I came upon Ho'oponopono Keala, it resonated so strongly with me. And just like, any truth, that you come across. And that's the aloha spirit, is whatever resonates with you, whatever makes you happy, whatever
Yeah.
puts a smile on your face. The aloha is go with that. You know,
Yes.
do that, go with that, live
Yes.
that, be that, walk that path. So, as far as I understand, you know, Anake, and where she comes from in the aloha spirit, the ho'oponopono keala, which is founded and based in the aloha spirit. It's all about that. Whatever you vibrate with, your vibrational match, go with that.
Mhm.
And you know, for me, I had such a powerful vibrational matchup and resonation with what she teaches and what comes from the ancient wisdom through her lineage, through the Kanaka Maole, you know, from the Hawaiian philosophy, if you can call it that. It really resonated strongly with me. But yeah, you know, as Anake says many times in class, there's many there's a lot of native intelligence out there. There's a lot of indigenous people, and they bring in their truths, and it's very powerful. So if that resonates with you and it brings you love, peace, and joy, do it. Go with
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Definitely.
And thank you so much for your response. I think it's important that when we ask questions, we like for me, I know that it's self-reflection, but I was also stimulated by the fact that your mother or your ancestry asked you to go out and be in the world and where you were and what that kind of brought for you, because it sounded like, or for me, the wisdom that I got from it is they were asking you to go out
Yeah.
and bring within. And so how that worked for you or what that meant for you.
Aaron was asking, so for the benefit of our live stream guests, we need to repeat the question. So I think she's saying, did the ancestors ask you to go out into the world to share your aloha? Or is it just through the course? No? Well, that's why, yeah, could you come up and ask the question then so that the live stream people can be a part of the
Oh,
service?
good idea.
Okay. I'm more or less, I'm not going to speak into the microphone. I'm going with what Auntie just helped me learn about my own wisdom. And I was just clarifying why my question came up was because she taught me that she was given the opportunity to go out in the world. And that's what.
All right,
guided my
thank you.
question.
Yeah, it was very necessary, as a matter of fact, for me to go out there so that I would understand, I would have that compassionate, I would have that resonating with others and where they're coming from, you know, and not about changing them, you know, and only if they needed to have, you know, if they felt like the aloha spirit would help simplify things or, you know, would help them in some way. Great. Yeah, absolutely.
Auntie, I'm going to try and project. Do you think that'll
Oh,
work?
no, we need to repeat the question. So just do your best and I'll do my best to ask the question, or you can speak into the mic.
Maybe I'll speak into the
Yeah, there you go. That's a good idea.
Like you want?
There you go.
Okay. Auntie, when I turned 70, my affirmation, my intention, whatever you want to call it, is experience pleasure, relax, and trust. And I'm going through lots of changes, and I get it up here, and sometimes I get it and am in the flow, as some refer to. And at other times, for example, I slept 1 hour last night. That's what my thing is. I quit sleeping. I get it, but my body doesn't get it. There's some place, there's the trauma and the drama hangs on. And it's hard for me to realize I'm safe, if that makes sense. And I mean, the truth is it passes. It always passes, and I understand. You know, the sleeplessness passes.
Oh,
But I guess I'm wondering how I'm getting tired of this. How long do I need to do this?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not killing me.
No,
But
no.
it gets old, It's just like, come on, I'm scared. I get
Yeah,
scared. When
yeah.
good things happen, I get scared.
Mm. Mhm. Okay. Now that just lets you know that when the good things happen,
Hmm.
grab it and multiply it.
Yeah.
Multiply it just in your thoughts and your heart, in the consciousness of self, in the
Mhm.
consciousness of self. And then as you do that, this is according to my mom, as you do that, then the body streams with it,
Mhm.
you know, and it starts to uh, bring in more of that like energy. I mean, it
Mhm.
has it, but it needs the mind and the heart to
Mhm.
also
Align.
align with it. So here's a way to that path,
Mhm.
and that is before you go to bed at night. The power of the breath.
Mhm.
Yeah, we use at times the power of the red
Red stars.
the red stars, the red flowers.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Red is a very powerful color.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So we usually write. We'll take even in the old days we didn't have the written,
Mhm.
but today we make
Mhm.
use of those. Yeah, and so write down any concerns you may have, any concerns, and as you write down your concerns, feel what your body's reaction is to that.
Mhm.
Are you getting a slight movement? Are you getting, or is there something, or does your heart even jump in with some fear or
Mhm.
something like that?
Mhm.
There's a movement somewhere in there.
Mhm.
And when that happens, just really be sure to pin that, tab it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, write it down and then tab it in your thoughts. And then the next one, or how many, doesn't matter. If I would say, if you have over, I would invite you to work with 5 things first,
Mhm.
just 5,
Mhm.
and do that for about a week and see how you feel about it after a week. Now, when you write it down, then you stick it between red paper.
Mhm.
And in fact, when you write it down, write it with red ink even,
Mhm.
and stick it between red paper. That's that power. And then get yourself a glass of water. I don't know if you've heard about Dr. Emoto's
Mhm.
messages
Yeah.
in the water.
Yeah.
Okay. He uses the messages in the water. Okay. And use that. That works. I mean, I find it works, and others have too. Um, Go ahead and fill a glass of water up
Mhm.
and put it on top of that
Mhm.
paper,
Mhm.
your note,
Mhm.
and then bless it and say, all clarity shall be received when I get up in the morning. I will have the clarity. And then in the morning, when you get up, first thing you do, drink that water. No other
Interesting.
energy. No other energy.
Interesting. I practice qigong, and my teacher has mentioned the almost same thing. We do a practice like that.
Native intelligence.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also for me, and as we were talking, it's the breath. And that's why I go swimming with the snorkel, because I've got to breathe. I have to, and I'm distracted by turtles and whatnot
True.
and dolphins. And so it forces me to breathe when I'm with that mask and snorkel. it forces,
Yeah.
whereas before I can kind of hold the breath a little easier and
Yeah.
forget.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's water also.
Yes,
The
yes.
healing of the water.
Yes. Well, we are what, 80% water?
Well, spent those first 9 months in water, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And we're 4 generations of our grandmother.
Right.
We're 4 generations.
Hmm.
Been in the womb 4
Yeah,
generations.
Auntie called, we talk about that ha, that you take in. It's called the pono pause.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's a very powerful tool. And even if you just speak it, pono pause,
Mhm.
when you go, take a long enough time to take in the breath and it's that enough of a pono pause that it might just shift the energy in that moment, maybe before you sleep,
Yeah.
and just take a different perspective on things. But yeah, to energize it through the water and the mahalos, mahalo in the morning, mahalo,
boy.
the clarity is there, and I
Yep.
can move forward in more of a desired experience in my body and in this experience of mine, and the clarity is there when you drink that water. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, a whole new day.
And realize that should the mana'o, the brain, starts to, go on with its old record, to say, yeah. And
We mahalo you. Aloha. Aloha already.
Right.
changes the energy.
Oh,
Mahalo.
time for yeah. Mahalo.
We're going to be doing the offering and the offertory music. So that means more music from you guys if you can. And it can be instrumental or anything you want. And after that, we'll do brief announcements. And we're going to, instead of ending with a song, since we're not supposed to sing, we're going to let Auntie and La'akea do a closing chant. So if anybody's concerned about exposure, you feel free to exit as you wish or take the back door. Anything you want is fine. So
Yeah,
thank
sure.
you. And you're welcome to make
Or
your
did you
offering on the
wanna
way
do
out. If you don't
magic?
want to come to the bowl, anything works.
Yeah, and you got to put another pin there. It seems to lift it.
Okay, we got a little
Yeah, little
kamakani. Kalohe, kamakani.
kalohe, rascally.
Rascally wind going on. Like flip our pages for us when we're not ready for flip.
Okay. For some of you, in fact, I would think all of you would know this song once you hear it. And if you do, come along and sing if you can. Well, we're not supposed to sing.
No singing.
So sing in your mind.
No singing. Okay,
Choose not to.
sing in your mind. Imagine there's no heaven.
Ina ole.
It's easy if you try.
E ma'alaki
No
no.
hell below us.
Aho e lua.
Above us only sky.
E leva
Imagine
valeno.
all the people
E ka'o.
living for today. Oh, imagine there's no country.
Yeah, no sing.
It isn't hard to do.
Yeah,
Nothing to kill or die for.
Aho e
And no religion too.
o mana ole.
Imagine all the people
E la o e
live
kako.
in peace. Oh, say, I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I possession. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. And the world will live as one.
Thank you. La'akea, if you or Auntie have announcements for yourselves, like this is our website or whatever, do you have any announcements like that so
Yeah, you
people
have the
can connect
cards.
with you?
Yes, absolutely.
Where'd you
Yeah.
put the card?
We have our cards and stuff over here. Also, you can go to alohaspiritauntie.com. That is the website, and all the information is on there. She has mo'olelo stories of herself and her history, and also there's the opportunity to come to the online classes that we offer. And we've been doing it for a couple of months now, but we have all of the recordings of the classes that we've done up till now, so you can go back and watch the recordings and then catch up,
The video.
you know, to where we are now.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a year-long class.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
like, ooh, we go deep. We go into uncharted waters and we navigate through Ho'oponopono Keala, and we go into the depths. And so, you know, we've kind of done the introduction and the, you know, the beginning stuff and the really introduction to the juiciness. And now we're getting ready to dive deep. So you're
I
all
think
in.
one of the most important things about the classes is that when it's convenient for you, then you can plug into it if you wish, because they are pre-recorded videos.
Mhm. Yeah, so you're all invited to join and jump in the va'a, the canoe with us.
So when
And
you
go to
forget to
those
sleep,
classes.
you can tune in.
Hey, you know, you can occupy your waking moments
Yeah.
with really good stuff, you know. So this is, and you can do it at, you know, any time,
anytime.
at your convenience. So that is the beauty of
Quite a
it.
few people, by the way, do
And
that.
yeah, so we're capturing and documenting all of these magical moments, and Anake bringing in these messages from the ancestors and guiding us, you know, and showing us and giving us the tools to navigate the waters of life. So this is good stuff. So yeah, go to alohaspiritauntie.com, and all of the
Yeah, that's
information
right.
is there. You can become a member and all of that. And pretty much, you know, you can go to the link that, you know, some of the music we did was from the Puna Cousin CD. Anake channeled in the messages, the Pono messages from Nakupuna, and
There's 12
there's 12.
songs on this album,
Yeah, 12
and they're
Pono.
all original, except for, no, they are.
No, every
They're
single
all
one.
original.
All original.
They
So-
came in through the component.
These are a powerful tool when you're driving, when you're sitting home alone
all
in
about
sleepless
you.
nights. You put in this CD, and it's got all of the Pono messages, all of the stuff in mele
in
form.
music form.
Mele form. So it kind of shifts your energy, and you can kind of really walk that Pono path easily with
It's
these
kind of
beautiful
funny
tools.
too, because we'll receive emails from people and they'll say, "Hi, Auntie, just wanted to let you know that, when I drive the LA traffic, I do it with the CDs. It's the only thing that can get
Puna
me
Cousins
through."
is in their CD player, and they play it over and over and over and over. Oh, Pono, Pono.
I'm in Pono.
They do the spandex. They're spandex CDs.
Yeah, they
on
spandex.
the
Aloha.
California freeways. Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, that's really the go-to place is the website.
Well, big gratitude, Auntie Mahealani and La'akea Pu'uvai.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Coming up at New Thought Center of Hawaii, for now, we're continuing with the in-person Sunday services unless the mandate changes. You can catch up with us at newthoughtcenterofhawaii.com. And you can watch the recorded services as well. For the next 3 Sundays, next week, Manuel Roberto with music by Bernice. It's Krishna's birthday party. Usually we have a feast, but that won't be possible. But she said she was going to try and bring fruit. So it's always a very festive thing, and I can't imagine it without singing. We'll have to figure that out. On the 16th, Julia Fairchild, New Thoughts About Overcoming Racism, music by Uma. And on the 23rd, Rudolph Steiner's Teachings by Phil Centers. Weekly classes, Mondays, Gentle Yoga from 5 to 6:30 with Maria Mann. Thursday, Kona Living Aloha Group with Davina between 6 and 8. On Tuesday, August 11th, we're having a workshop, the Safe Conversations Practice Group with Davina, which is kind of a learning to live loving communication kind of thing. And if you want to sign up, you can be on our weekly e-newsletter or look for us on Facebook or Dolphin Podners. Are there any other New Thought announcements? Andrew? Come on up.
Hey y'all, my name's Brent. I thought it'd be cool to have a potluck after Krishna. Is it his birthday? Is that what? Okay. Staying at, a lot of you probably know Stephen and Shayna's house. So that's just up the road. So if any of y'all are into that, probably going to do that. That's next Sunday. Next Sunday. Also, in these times, a lot of people might just need human touch and contact, and just wanted to let you know that I'll leave business cards here if anyone would like to indulge in any of that. And really appreciate you guys. Have a great week.
Thank you, Brent.
Okay, I'm Pasha. I'm the president of the board of New Thought, and I want to say a big thank you to Brent also because he was willing to be trained to be our sound technician at a time when all of the other people who have done that for us in recent years were unable to. So big mahalo to you, Brent, for that. We are unfortunately not able to do potlucks as New Thought, so please understand that was his personal, he was wearing his personal hat when he suggested that. But massage is definitely allowed as long as you follow the correct protocols, and I've heard he's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Okay, yeah. Because I didn't know what else was happening, I couldn't update the announcement, but actually Bernice will not be part of the music minister next week because her mother passed away, and she's going to be part of that family experience that happens on those occasions. So she'll be in California, and but Manuel affirms that there will be music. I mean, there won't be kirtan, but there will be music, because one of the things Krishna's most famous for is flute, right? So Manuel will bring his flute and expects to recruit some other talented musicians. So we will be fed spiritually and culturally, just not physically.
Unless you go to Brent's potluck.
A personal pot.
Personal.
So instead of doing Hawaii Aloha this week, you guys are welcome to perform a chant or a song, whichever you would like. So everyone is dismissed. Please observe social distancing, and thank you all for being a part.
And like we will do a mahalo chant, the Mahalo Nui chant. And this is a chant of gratitude, definitely a chant of gratitude. We do this one a lot, every day practically, because every day is a gratitude day as far as we're concerned. And remember, it's all about the energy. You want to recreate that energy. You want to keep it going. So one of the ways to keep that good experiential energy in place so that you can match up to it all the time really is to be in gratitude. So this is a gratitude chant, and it speaks about the child within, okay? The child within. And the child within, and it speaks about the home from where we all come from, and that is Makali'i. Makali'i, which is the Palladius, the seven sisters, and my grandfather used to always talk about the journey, that Makali'i. So the song got written, or the chant got written, and I'm certain that he was part of that writing because he put it in there, as a trip. So, ready? And then I'll translate it
Okay.
for you if you like.
On the second one, yeah.
Yeah.
Makakau?
I
Hiki au ke ia o holo koa. Mahalo nui. Mahalo nui.
mahalo nui no hola ke ia piha po mai kai e aloha.
Mahalo nui.
Thank you very much for this day, and I'm loved and blessed by the ancestors.
Hiki au ke ia.
Ia ke ia no holo koa ele mai ana makali'i.
Keiki au ke ia. Keiki au
I
ke
am this child
ia no holo
of the
koa.
universe,
Hele mai
and I come
ana
from
no makali'i.
the seven
Aloha
sisters.
huakahi.
Aloha huakahi no hoku wa'a po mai kai aku puna.
Aloha huakahi. Aloha huakahi.
And I am on this loving journey,
No hoku wa'a po mai
and I am loved
Inaku
and blessed
puna.
by the ancestors.
Haina ia mai.
Haina ia mai, ana kapuana, ke kiau ke ia, no holo koa.
Haina ho. Haina ia mai.
I am reminded
Ana kapuana.
this is my story and my
Aloha po
song.
mai kai. Inaku puna.
Child of the universe,
Hey
blessed,
lava.
loved by the ancestors.
Keikio keia. Oh,
and this
aloha
child
po mai kai.
of the universe.
Puna.
And I am blessed and loved by the ancestors.